Hello everyone and welcome to my channel Make It Yourself. In today's tutorial I'll teach you how to make this face pot planter along with the flowers and the leaves on top of it. And you can keep it simple this way with only the face, or you can attach these palms to the bottom of the pot and such that it looks like the face is resting on the palms and sleeping. And you can do either of these and you will learn how to do both the patterns in today's tutorial. The pattern to making the vines along with the flowers will be available in another video which I have already published, the link to which I will provide in the description of this video, so you can go ahead and refer to that video and make the vines prior to making these pots. And I would also like to tell you to visit the description section of this video to refer to details of what yarn to use, the hook size, and all the other things required for today's tutorial. So we're going to start off by making the pot. So for the pot we are going to use a white cotton yarn. These details will be available in the description as well, like I already said. And we are using a 4 mm hook. We are going to start off by making a magic ring and then making a chain of 1. This chain of 1 doesn't count as a stitch. And into this magic ring we are going to make 8 single crochets. So this is the first single crochet, then the second single crochet, third single crochet, the fourth single crochet, the fifth, the sixth. You can reduce the size of the ring a bit so that it's easy for you to hold it, the seventh, and the eighth single crochet. So after the 8 single crochets you will pull the tail yarn and close the magic ring. Now we are going to work on a spiral form, so you will be making 1 single crochet on top of the first stitch of the previous round, and you will be marking the stitch so that you know that this is the first stitch of this next round. So place a stitch marker. If you do not have a stitch marker, you can use a yarn of a different color and use that to mark the stitch. Now into the same stitch make another single crochet. So for this round the pattern will be to make an increase in each stitch, which means you will be making 2 single crochets in each of the stitches. So since you're making 2 stitches in each of the stitches, you will be by the end of this round you should have a total of 16 single crochets. So continue this pattern till the end of this round and you should have a total of 16 single crochets, and stop once you reach the marker. So once you reach the marker, you will be removing the marker, and on top of that stitch you will be making 1 single crochet again and mark that stitch back. Now we are in the third round, and for this third round the pattern is to make 1 single crochet in the first stitch and 2 single crochet or an increase in the next stitch. So in the next stitch you're going to make 2 single crochets. So 1 single crochet in the first stitch and 2 single crochets in the next stitch. So we will repeat this pattern till the end of this round, such that you should have a total of 24 single crochets by the end of this round. So continue this till you reach the marked stitch, and once you reach the marked stitch you're going to remove the marker and make 1 single crochet on top of it as usual and place the marker back. And this is the start of round number 4. So for round number 4 the pattern is to make 2 single crochets in the first 2 stitches and an increase on the third. So this is third stitch, so you will be making an increase, or you'll be making 2 single crochets in the same stitch. Now again, make 1 single crochet in the first stitch, 1 single crochet in the next stitch, and 2 single crochets in the third stitch. So continue this pattern till the end of this round, and you should have a total of 32 single crochets. And once you reach the marker, as usual, remove the marker, make 1 single crochet on top of this stitch, and place the marker back. And we are at the beginning of round number 5 now, and here the pattern is to make 3 single crochets in the first 3 stitches and an increase on the fourth stitch. So make 2 single crochets on the fourth stitch, and so make 1 single crochet in the first stitch, second single crochet on the second stitch, third single crochet on the third stitch, and an increase on the fourth stitch. So continue this pattern till the end of this round, and you should have a total of 40 single crochets. And once you reach the marked stitch, make 1 single crochet on top of it as usual and mark it, and you're at round number 6. So for round number 6, make 4 single crochets in the first 4 stitches. So after the fourth stitch, you will make an increase. So this is the fourth single crochet, and now make an increase on the fifth stitch, and you will be repeating this pattern till the end of this round, and you should end up with a total of 48 single crochets once you reach the marked stitch. So this is the base of the pot that we are currently making. So repeat this till you reach the first stitch, and once you reach the first stitch, you will be making a single crochet on top of the first stitch, but you will work only on the back loop. So this is the back loop of the stitch, so make 1 single crochet on top of it and place the stitch marker back. And for this round, we will be making just 1 single crochet on top of each stitch, and we will work only on the back loops of the stitches. So continue making these stitches on the back loop of this round until you reach the marker again. Once you reach the marker, remove the marker, and this time we are going to work on the entire stitch. So make 1 single crochet on the entire stitch and place the marker back. So for this round also, you'll just make 1 single crochet on each stitch. So we are at round number 8, so just make 1 single crochet on top of each stitch. So you will see that once you have started making this only single crochets for these rounds, it will start curving and take the form of the pot. So for this next round also, we will just make 1 single crochet on top of each stitch. So we are in round number 9. So here too we'll just make 1 single crochet on top of each stitch, and by the end of this round you should have a total of 48 single crochets. For the remaining part of the height that we're adding to this pot, the pattern will be the same. We will just make 1 single crochet on each stitch. So here from round number 10 to round number 21, we will just make 1 single crochet on each stitch. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So 14 rounds we have added with just one single crochet in each stitch, and this is the height that we have. You can adjust this according to your requirement. So I feel this is the height that will look good for the spot. And now after this last round of increase, what we're going to do is we will be working only on the front loop. Here too the pattern remains the same of just one single crochet on each stitch. After making the first stitch, mark it so that you know that this is the first stitch of this round, and then for the remaining just work one single crochet on each stitch. Make sure to work only on the front loop of the stitches. So we are making these rounds to add folded down edging to the pot. So continue making these stitches of like one single crochet in each stitch for the entire round until you reach the first stitch. So once you reach the first stitch, remove the marker, and for this round we will be working on the entire stitch. So just make one single crochet on top of each stitch for this round. So by the end of this round you should still have a total of 48 single crochets. So once you add this round, you can see that the edge, you can fold it downwards. So complete this round of one single crochet in each stitch, and you should have a total of 48 single crochets once you reach the marker. And once you reach the marker, you will see that the edging is created, and you can fold this section where we so once you reach the last stitch here, so you can fold it here this way and create this edging here for the pot. And this is the last stitch of this last round. So just make a slip stitch to the top of the first stitch, and then after the slip stitch, chain one, pull the yarn tight to make a knot, and then trim this yarn off. So here our pot is ready. You can fold this section this way, and if you want to just make a normal pot for any kind of plants, then you can use this plants pot for your other projects as well. You can stitch in the tail yarn into the existing stitches of this pot, and once the tail yarn is secure, you can trim off the excess. And now we are going to make the top disc, which you are going to attach your top part of the pot. So for this, again, make a magic ring and chain one. This is basically the same pattern that we did for the bottom part of the pot. So we will follow the exact same pattern. So for round number one, we'll be making 8 single crochets into the magic ring. So this bottom this disc will be used to stitch the vines to the top of the pot, and it will also have some additional leaves on the last round. So we'll start off from this round number one, where we are making 8 single crochets into the magic ring. And once you're done with 8 single crochets, you will pull the tail yarn and close the magic ring, and we'll be working in a spiral model. So we'll make one single crochet on top of the first stitch, and we will mark it. So make a single crochet and mark this stitch, and for the second round the pattern will be to make an increase in each stitch. So we will be making 2 single crochets in each stitch for this entire round. So by the end of this round you should have a total of 16 single crochets. So continue making an increase in each of the stitch till you reach the marked stitch. And once you reach the marked stitch, just remove the stitch marker and make one single crochet on top of the first stitch. And into this round we'll be making one single crochet in the first stitch and an increase in the next stitch. So this is the first single crochet, so the next stitch will have an increase, so make an increase in the next stitch and again make a single crochet in the first stitch and an increase in the next stitch. So continue this pattern till the end of this round, and you should have a total of 24 single crochets by the end of this round. That is once you reach the marker. So for the next round we will again make one single crochet in the first stitch, one single crochet in the next stitch, and an increase in the third stitch. So in the third stitch make two single crochets. So one single crochet in the first stitch, one single crochet in the second stitch, and an increase in the third stitch. So continue this pattern till you reach the last stitch, and you should have a total of 32 single crochets by the end of this round. For the next round again, start off with the marked stitch and make one single crochet in the first stitch, place the marker back and make one single crochet in the second stitch and one single crochet on the third stitch and make an increase on the fourth stitch. So you will repeat this pattern till the end of this round, and you should have a total of 40 single crochets by the end of this round. And do this till you reach the marked stitch. So as you can see, this is exactly what we did for the base of the pot, so it is basically the same pattern. Now once you reach the last stitch, this is where it will change a bit. So after round number 5, this round number 6 will be a bit different. Here you will make a slip stitch to the front loop of the first stitch. So make a slip stitch here, and then we'll be making a leaf here. So to make the leaf, you will be first chaining 6. So make a chain of 6, 2, chain 3, chain 4, chain 5, and chain 6. Now on the third stitch, 1, 2, 3, on the third stitch from the hook, make first one half double crochet, then chain 1 and make another half double crochet, and now into the next stitch make one double crochet first. So make a double crochet into the next stitch, make the second double crochet into the same stitch, and on top of this second double crochet you will be making a chain 1 picot. So chain 1 first, insert your hook into the base 2 loops and make a slip stitch, and make one more double crochet into the same stitch. Now move to the next stitch. Into the next stitch, first make one half double crochet and followed by the half double crochet make a chain 1 and make another half double crochet, make a chain of 2 and slip stitch to the same stitch. Now what you'll do is we'll go back and slip stitch to the base of the first stitch. So this is where we started our first stitch. So into the stitch insert your hook and make a slip stitch. Now take the yarn, that is the tail yarn under the leaf and make a slip stitch to the base stitch or the base chain. So there is one stitch remaining here. Make a slip stitch to this base. So here one leaf is done. Now slip stitch into the front loop of the next 4 stitches. So this is the first stitch and this is the second stitch. So make sure to work only on the front loop. Second stitch, the third stitch, and the make one more stitch. So this is the fourth stitch, and into this fourth stitch we will make another leaf. So repeat the pattern of making a chain 6 first, and into the third stitch from the hook you will be making. So repeat this pattern to make let's first measure if this fits the top of the pot. So you can see this one fits exactly the top of this pot, and these leaves will be at the edge part of this pot. So we're planning to add around 5 leaves to the front side of the pot. So this is the second leaf that we're making. So on the third stitch from the hook, first make a half double crochet and chain 1, make another half double crochet into the same stitch, move to the next stitch, first make a double crochet followed by another double crochet into the same stitch, make a chain 1 picot. So chain 1, insert hook into the base 2 loops and make a slip stitch, make another double crochet into the same stitch. Now move to the next stitch, make one half double crochet followed by a chain 1 followed by another half double crochet. Now chain 2 and slip stitch to the same stitch. Now slip stitch to the base of the very first stitch. So this is the first stitch and this is the base. So slip stitch into that stitch. Now take the tail yarn under the leaf and make a slip stitch to the base of this leaf. So there is a one chain remaining at the base. Make a slip stitch there. Now you will be again slip stitching into the front loop of the next 4 stitches, and on the 4th stitch you will make another leaf. So you will be repeating this pattern to make a total of 5 leaves. So just continue and repeat the same pattern of making a leaf and chaining over the next 4 stitches, and on the 4th stitch make another leaf. So you will make a total of 5 leaves. So once you are done making 5 leaves, so this is the 5th leaf, you will go to the front loop of the next stitch and make a slip stitch here and pull the yarn. You can make one chain 1 so that a knot is placed here, and then you have to leave a very long tail and then trim off the yarn. So this tail yarn will be used to stitch the this disc to the top of the pot. So accordingly leave a long tail yarn. So using a needle, so here I am using a threader so that it is easy for me to pull this yarn through this needle. So this threader is part of a kit that I will show you in the upcoming part of the video. And so here I will be stitching. As you can see, we had worked only on the front loop, so the back loops are available here. And for this disc also we will use only the back loops. So the back loop of the pot and the back loop of this disc, we will be stitching it together. So just place the disc on top of this pot and using the tail yarn, insert it through the back loop of this disc and insert it through the back loop of the pot. Since the disc and the pot has the same pattern, you should have the exact number of stitches on the disc as well as the pot. So you can stitch through the back loop of each set and you should have the exact number of sets. So just insert the yarn through one stitch of the back loop of the disc and one stitch of the back loop of the pot and pull through it in the manner shown in this video, and you can stitch the through and you can stitch around it uh, and place this disc on top of the pot. So what we'll do is we will stitch through half of it and then insert the filling inside this pot. So I would want this base to be heavy, so you can insert apart from the polyfill, you can also insert some heavy material like rocks or something. In my project, after I filled the polyfill, I actually used a small yogurt glass jar of a small size, and I inserted it into it and it fit, I mean it was fitting perfectly, so I used that. You can do that, or else you can just place some rocks or something to keep the bottom of this jar heavy. So insert some polyfill and you can also insert some heavy material into this pot, and after that you can continue stitching the remaining of the stitches to completely close the top of this pot. So before fully closing it, let's attach these vines. As I said, the tutorial to this vines is already published and it is available. I have listed the link to it in the description, so refer to the description to make these vines. You can pull the vines and edges of the vines through the center stitch and place a knot on the other side. You can also stitch them in if you want, so I feel this is a easier way of doing it. Once the vines are placed, and now you can complete stitching the entire disc. So the part where the leaves are there, you will still have the back loop available because we had made these leaves only on the front loop of the disc. So the back loop stitches will still be available and you can stitch the back loop of this disc to the back loop of the pot and close the entire opening on top of this basket. So continue stitching till you reach the first stitch, and once you reach the first stitch you can place a knot and trim off this excess yarn. So here I'm almost done, and so actually after I have completed this, I opened it up again and placed the jar inside it, the yogurt jar inside it, because it was fitting perfectly. So you can either do that or place some heavy stones or something inside it so that the pot does not topple over with the weight of these leaves. So once you're done stitching the entire top portion, these leaves I want them to be attached to the front of the pot. So what I'm doing is I'm just passing through the leaf, the needle through the leaf till I reach the tip of the leaf. And once I reach the tip of the leaf, I want this leaf to be lying so like on the forehead of the face. So what I'll do is I'll pull this leaf like this to the bottom, and then I'll place a stitch. So insert the needle through one stitch and take it out on the through the other stitch where you're going to place the tip of the second leaf. So insert your needle in through the tip of the second leaf, and now insert it back through the stitch and take it out through the other stitch where the tip of the next leaf lies. So this way you're just stitching the tip of the leaves, that is the tip of the 5 leaves, to the pot. So we're trying to create the look of the face of this planter pot. So I wanted these 5 leaves to be attached to the top of the face, like the bangs of the face. So I'm stitching the tip of the leaves to this top part of the planter. So once you're done with the last leaf, you can just place a knot. So once you're done placing a knot, you can insert it through the stitch and take it out through another stitch, and then trim off this stitch here, and you will see that the tail yarn will be on the inner side of the pot and it will get hidden automatically. So here we are done with the leaves attached to the top of the pot. Now we're going to make the face. So to make this face, I am using these items from this stitching kit. So I'll be using these needle and threader and these marking pins. So all of this are a part of a stitching kit, and I'll be using this marking pins to mark the eyes. So just below the leaves I will be marking the stitches where I'll be making the eyes. So around 4 stitches apart, place the next one. In between you can leave another 3 stitches and then mark 4 stitches for the eyes, for the second eye. So this is how the eyes will be placed, and using a needle, and you can use a threader to thread in the black yarn. So you can either use a small size cotton yarn, or you can use embroidery yarn, or you can even use thread by layering them. So for the eyes, you will be stitching through these marked pins. Now before that, I just wanted you to have a look at the stitching kit. So the stitching kit is from Vellostar, and they have like these 3 different sizes of stitching kits, which has almost everything in it. So this is the small size, and then you have another one which is the medium size, and this too has all the necessary things in it with few extra threads and few extra items. And this, after the second size, this is the third size, this is the biggest size, and it has everything plus a variety of threads that you can choose from. So this has been very useful for me, and this kits have been gifted to me by Vellostar, and I'm really thankful to them. And I have a promo code for this. If you would like to purchase it, you can refer to the description for the link and buy these kits for yourself. These are very useful for your normal mending and stitching work, apart from projects like these that I use for my crochet as well. So let's get back to the tutorial. So now I'll be inserting my needle through another stitch and taking it out through the one of the marked stitch of the eye. You will see why I left this yarn at the end here, because we'll be placing a knot at the end of after we complete the eye. So take this yarn out through one of the marked stitch. Now through the second marking, you insert your hook, insert your needle and pull it through one of the points where you're going to add one of the lashes. So once after this, after one stitch, insert your needle and pull it through the second position where the second lash will be placed, and then make the lash by placing a stitch below it, and then insert the needle through the stitch where the third lash will be placed. So this is the position of the third lash. So insert the needle one stitch below, and then take it out through the initial stitch where you had entered the needle from, and here this is where you will be placing the knots so that the yarn is secure and does not come off. And after placing few knots and it is secure, you can trim off this yarn and this push this knot into the pot itself. So just push this knot inside into the pot. So you can see that one of the eyes, that is the sleeping eye or closed eye, is created very easily. So similarly we will make the next eye also. So insert your needle through any stitch and take it out through the marked stitch, and once this is out through this stitch, leave a tail through the stitch where you inserted it. Now insert through the other point, that is the end point of the eye, and take it out through the point where you're going to make the first lash. Now place a stitch just below it and take the needle out through the stitch where you will make the second lash, sorry, the eyelash. And now place the stitch below it, or insert the needle below it, and take it out through the point where you will add the third eyelash. So this is the position of third eyelash. Now insert it through a stitch below and take it out through the very first stitch. So this way the eye gets created, and we have now both the tail ends at the same stitch, where we are going to place some knots through both the tail yarns. And once you have placed a few knots using the tail yarn, you can trim it off. And now push this knot inside into the pot, to the inner side of the pot, such that the tail yarn gets hidden. So as you can see, very easily we made both the sleeping eyes of the face planter. Now next we will be making the nose and the lips for the face planter. So for the nose also, we will first be marking it. So between the eyes we will take around 3 stitches and mark it for the nose, and below the nose we will mark around 3 or 4 stitches for the lips. So these are the marking points for the nose and the lips. So for the nose we will be using a off-white color yarn, and insert it into the needle and insert it through any stitch of the face and take it out through the first marked point, and make sure to leave the tail yarn at the beginning stitch, because you're going to tie it back later. Now after that, insert your needle into the second mark stitch and pass it through the first mark stitch again. So you will have this one round of yarn here. Make another round, so insert through the last stitch and the first stitch again. So you have 2 bands of yarn here, and we'll do it one more time, so we have like 3 layers of yarn out here. And after the 3 layers, what we are going to do is we are going to stitch over this bands of yarn. So just pass from top to bottom on top of these yarn. So as you can see, uh, over these bands of yarn we are just inserting the needle from bottom to top and creating the nose pattern. So just once you're done, then insert it back through the first stitch and pull it out. And now when you have both the tail yarns, place few knots and as usual trim it and push this knot back into the stitches. So as you can see here, the nose is ready. Now for the lips, it is very easy. You're just going to insert it through any stitch and pass it through the first stitch and then through the second stitch. Here we are just going to pass it through these 2 stitches a few times until the lips are created. So just pass it through these 2 stitches a few times and layer it so that the lips get created. Once you feel that there is enough layers, just pass it through the first stitch again and place a knot between the tail yarns, and then trim it off and trim it off, and then insert it back into the body of the pot. So here, as you can see, the face is done here. And now to the top of this pot I want to add some of the flowers. So the tutorial to make this flowers will be available in the tutorial where I teach you to make the vines and the flowers. So the link is available in the description, so do refer to that video as well to make this entire project. So you need to make a total of 4 flowers, and these flowers I'm just passing it through the top of these leaves and just tying them there. So place 2-3 knots, and after you have placed the knots you can pull the tail yarn through the inside of the planter. So place 2 knots, and after that use a needle and pass it through the inside of the pot and take it through another stitch, and then you can trim on the other stitch, and you can see the stitch to the top of the head. Similarly, tie the second flower also in a similar manner. Just place few knots on over the stitch, and then the tail yarns, using a needle you can pass through the body of the planter and pull it through another stitch and trim it off. So in this way you need to add around 4 flowers to the top of the head. So once this is done, you can add a little bit of blush to the cheeks and some eyeshadow to the eyes as well. So for that you can use a normal blush that you generally use, or you can even use some sort of paint to paint it in. I'm just using a normal blush for the cheeks as well as the eyes in the shade of pink. So after applying this blush and the eyeshadow, make sure to blend it in properly. The blush and the eyeshadow shadow need not be very dark, so you can just rub or brush it off properly so that they are blended really well. So this is how it looks finally. Now we're going to make the palms on which the face is resting. So for that, first make a slip knot and chain 6. So make the chain of 6, and after making the chain of 6 you will be making one single crochet on the second stitch from the hook, and then you'll be just making one stitch on top of the one single crochet on top of the remaining stitches. So you will have a total of 5 single crochet by the end of this row. So just make one single crochet on top of each chain here. Once you reach the last stitch, you'll be chaining 1 and turning your work. So again, into the first stitch make one single crochet, into the next stitch make one single crochet. So you will be just making one single crochet on top of each stitch, and by the end of this row you should have a total of 5 single crochets. So this is the fourth single crochet here, and this is the fifth single crochet. So after the fifth single crochet, every time after the fifth single crochet you will chain 1 and turn your work, and this way you will be making a total of 10 rows. So just make 5 single crochets, chain 1 and turn your work, and continue this pattern such that you make a total of 10 rows overall. So after you have made the 10th row, you're going to chain 1 and turn your work, and you'll be decreasing the first 2 stitches. So insert your hook into the first stitch, insert your hook into the next stitch, and when you have 3 loops, pull through all of them, and the middle stitch just make one single crochet, and the next two stitches again you'll be making a decrease. So insert your hook into the first, insert your hook into the second, and once you have 3 loops in your hook, pull through all of them. So you should have a total of 3 single crochets now. Chain 1 and turn your work, and chain 2 and turn your work, and now into the very first stitch you will be making one half double crochet, followed by one double crochet in the same stitch, and in the next stitch you will be making one treble crochet, and on top of this treble crochet you will be making a chain 1 picot. So chain 1, insert your hook into the base 2 loops and make a slip stitch, and into the next stitch you will be making one double crochet first, followed by a half double crochet, followed by chain 2, and then slip stitch back into the same stitch. Now chain 1, leave a tail yarn and then trim it off. So make two of this using the same pattern, and both will be like, they'll be like 2 palms of the face. Now for this base section, you will be folding it after 3 rows like this, and using the tail yarn, make sure to leave a long tail yarn. Here I had left a shorter tail yarn, so if you have the shorter tail yarn you can use a smaller crochet hook to do the stitching part. So use a needle or a smaller crochet hook to stitch this base folded section in this manner, and once you have stitched in this entire section, at the end you can place a knot and then trim it off. So at the end, since here I was not able to use the needle, I'm using a smaller crochet hook now, and using that, place a knot and then stitch in the tail yarn. So you can, to stitch in the tail yarn, you can just pass it through a few of the existing stitches, and once it is secure and hidden you can trim off the excess. So here, as you can see, this base section is folded here, and the other tail yarn also, you can just stitch the other tail yarn into the existing stitches. You can also use this tail yarn to stitch the palms to the face of the planter if you want, but I wanted to hot glue it, which is much easier. So as you can see, I folded both the sections this way, and now I'll place it this way and place the front part of the pot over these 2 palms, and I will stick the top portion in this manner. So I'm going to hot glue it. You can use the tail yarn and stitch it to the face as well, it's up to you. So I'm hot gluing the base part first, so I'm just applying some hot glue to the base part of the palm and then placing this face planter on top of this base here, and once this is done, I'll be hot gluing the tip or the top part of the palm as well. So I'll be placing a dab of glue on the tip of this hand or the palm, so, and then stick it to the side of the face on both sides. So do it for the other palm as well and place it on the other side. So once this is done, it will it will appear like this face planter is resting on the 2 palms with eyes closed. So you can make this face planter alone and insert a flower pot into it and display your life plants, or you can make this entire projects by making these vines, the tutorial to which is linked in the description of this video, and make this entire setup with this crocheted vines and the crochet uh, face planter. And I hope you enjoyed today's tutorial. Do subscribe to my channel and click on the bell icon for notifications on new video, and give me a thumbs up guys if this video was useful. Thank you very much for watching and have a great day.